There was one individual that I'd like to mention because obviously we gone into the discussion of not of nine, but there's one individual who is by far one of the greatest actresses ever, who is literally giving you that push, and that was Katharine Hepburn.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
would you like to tell us the story of how Katharine Hepburn gave you that little push of getting
Wait,
nine?
you remind me. What do you know about that story? And then I'll fill in the blanks. Yeah.
So what I've done my research on was the Katharine Hepburn went to go and see a read through of Nine, and you were there, and I can't remember who it was, but you performed the music, the story, and
Hmm.
she loved it that much. She recommended to someone or somebody or some people that this person has got a musical that needs to be put on stage.
Yeah.
You be
Well, it's the most generous thing that I've ever experienced in my life. There's a there's a foundation called the O'Neill Foundation in Connecticut, and they do readings, staged readings every summer of promising new musicals. And uh, the second year they did that, many years ago, during the summer, my show Nine was picked to be performed there, and we went up there to do it. I had some wonderful actors. A young director named Howard Ashman directed it.
Mm.
He did a beautiful job. At the end of the summer, he said, "You know, I write lyrics, and I'm looking for a composer." And I said, "Howard, you have to meet my friend Alan Menken. I think you two of you would be really hit it off." And
Mm.
that's how that happened. In any case, unbeknownst to me or anyone else, um, Katharine Hepburn lived in Connecticut, quite close to that institution in Connecticut, and every summer she went to see what they were developing, you know. And so she went and she saw this run through, well, this presentation of my musical Nine, and she knew Federico Fellini very well, and she wrote to him, and she said, "Federico, I have seen something quite marvelous, a musical based on your film Eight and a Half. It's quite wonderful, and you should be aware of it." And and I didn't know that until Fellini told me. When it came time to get the rights to do the musical, and when I traveled to Italy, and we ultimately got the rights, um, and we did the show, and it was a huge hit. Fellini invited me to come to Rome and spend some time with him, and that was just the best week of my life. We just every day we had lunch every day with all his friends. Have these cars, you know, zooming around the narrow streets of Rome and finding some new restaurant, usually out under a tarpaulin, and with them, uh, and um, and he said. He said, "You know," he said, "I knew about Nine many years ago because Katharine Hepburn wrote to me and told me that it was wonderful." So who knew that, you know? So, and that's how I found that out. Uh, and then I asked him if Marcello Mastroianni could sing, and he said, "Si, soprano." He was a very, very funny man. Um, and uh, and so, you know, you find out wonderful things like that. The last thing I would have expected, and but that was, you know, sort of like an angel had taken a look at my life somehow, and that woman had done that, and that facilitated, I guess, because I had never done anything, nobody had ever heard of me, but somehow Fellini had gotten that note way before I ever considered that we'd get a chance to actually do the show on Broadway.